Hi, I'm Greg Ulan with Reynolds and Reynolds, and this is Connected. I'm really excited about this conversation today. I'm sitting down with Curtis Gardner. Curtis is a master tech at Audi North Houston. He's also the founder of Gnarred, which is a company focused on fixed ops efficiency. Curtis, thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Greg, and to the team for inviting me on and having me this morning.
Yeah, really excited about it. Really excited about it. So I want to get into technician efficiency and productivity a lot today. I think there's a lot of layers to it. You're living it every day. You have for quite a while now, and you're reaching out and helping others dive into it as well. Other technicians how to become as efficient as possible. Before we get there, though, before we started recording, you said you were up at Northwood today, which great university, and there's not a better place to be, I don't think, in September. It's beautiful up there, but talk about kind of what you're doing up there and what you have going on this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. I was invited up here to attend the CAMS event yesterday with Brian Benstock did a keynote speech, which was pretty powerful. And then today, tomorrow, and Sunday this weekend is the auto show. So I'll be walking around, meeting students and talking to some of the vendors and just kind of getting out there and, talking to people about training, learning, and how just technicians are, such an important part of the growing face of the dealership.
Yeah, that's great. How's the weather up there this for the show?
Well, it did rain yesterday, but today is sunny and bright. So we're hoping it stays like that.
Perfect. It's always roll the dice, but that's good to hear. Got some sunshine today. I think we had our director of industry relations, Sean Leibel, was up there at the CAMS event too. I don't know if you met Sean, but if not, I'll tell him to see if he can find you today or tomorrow. Yeah,
I met him on yesterday morning and just
Good.
Briefly shook hands with him, but I'll touch base back again after this and a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's great. It's always good to make those connections. But Curtis, let's go ahead and dive in and talk a little bit about, not a little bit, probably a lot about technician efficiency. And one of the metrics that I've noticed over the last about 10 years or so is actually a metric, measuring productivity. So technician productivity being the percentage of time a tech is in a store that he's turning a wrench. Right. So how much time is he actually getting to work on a vehicle? Obviously, we want that to be as close to 100 as possible. That's how he's going to make money. That's how the shop's going to make money. But it's going down. Right. Our benchmark is going down for the percentage of time that a technician's actually working when he's in the store. And there's reasons for that. Right. We're asking him to do a really good MPI. We're asking him to take pictures and videos. And so there's some reasons. But if we don't start clawing back some of that time, we're just going the wrong direction. So when I see that, it's okay. How do we give techs more time to be able to do what they do best? And I'm curious, your reaction. Maybe that's a jumping off point for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's quite a few metrics that go into it. The Reynolds and Reynolds DMS platform offers, certain things that are able to track the repair mix, how much warranty, how much CP we're doing. They're able to say how long it took us to do a job. Say it pays 2 hours. Did it take us shorter amount of time, longer amount of time? That's able to determine some efficiency. We're also able to see some of the things if we're sending quotes, does that quote, how powerful is that quote? Is it 0.5 or is it 1.5? So there's about 10 different things that can be used to track efficiency. And my goal is to help technicians get it up to that 150% efficiency mark. We want to make sure that they're going into the day and they're being overly productive because we want to make sure technicians are making more money for themselves, for the dealership, and ultimately just taking care of everyone in the dealership and the customer.
Yeah. So if I'm a tech, right, and I'm not a brand new technician, but I'm not a master tech either, and I'm getting into it, and I'm looking and I'm going, okay, how is Curtis, right, turning this many hours every single day over and over and over again? What's like, the first thing or the first three things maybe that I should examine in my day and say, okay, I can probably change this and pick up a tenth here and pick up 2/10 here. What are maybe those top three that I should focus on first?
Yeah, well, to that point, I've been doing it for 15 years, so it hasn't happened overnight for sure. We all know our phones are huge distractions. So taking that initial step is probably the biggest. But one thing that I've helped me with is tracking my steps and tracking my time. If I'm going to get parts, going to get a car, going to see the advisor, I'm either timing it or basically timing it and just saying, can I hit 2 stops at one time? how long am I spending time over here or over here? And you can save, 1 to 5 minutes pretty easily. And that stacks up and just, I'm there to get cars in. I'm there to get cars worked on. And I'm just focused on that the whole time. So just staying locked in and making sure I'm eliminating distractions, making sure that everything I'm doing is organized and strategized to turn more hours, like having my quotes and my quotes and warranty stories organized so that if I'm doing a similar repair, I can copy paste that into it. And typing technicians aren't going to be super fast at typing. Some might, but you're going to spend 5 to 10 minutes typing up a good warranty story. And so if you can just copy paste that in and adjust the key points, you're already saving a huge amount of time.
That's a good kind of low hanging fruit to go attack. So how do you do that tactically? Do you just have a Word document that it's open on your computer, or how do you do it?
Yeah, so I have a Word document, but I've heard some dabblings, and you probably might know that we're having some AI stuff integrated into warranty stories. So now I'll be able to enter a warranty story and hit a button, and it'll, supply this fancy, beautiful warranty story that'll save a bunch of time for everybody.
Yeah. No, I mean, what we're going to be able to do there, and what's kind of rolling out is pretty impressive. But for those that not every technician is going to have access to that, right? So just that first step of okay, once you and maybe it's I don't know how you built kind of your catalog, but my assumption is you spend the time once, right? And you're like, okay, this one's good. You copy paste it, put it in a Word document, you save it, and then another repair, do the same thing, right? You write it once, copy paste, put it in there, you save it. So now every time that same repair comes up, now I just have it and I don't have to type it again, right? Is that a good kind of layout of how you would attack it?
Yeah, that's perfect. I mean, I'm typing recalls. If I'm doing a maintenance service or warranty job. Warranty jobs is the biggest one, but I have a huge 10+ page document of just stuff, and then I'll just search it in the document and it pulls up. I'm like, oh, I just did this recall. Let me search it and add it in real fast.
Yeah, that's great. So when you do that, again, sorry, we're getting a little into the weeds here, but I'm curious, because if another technician's listening, I want them to have kind of a playbook, because I think this is a good idea. Are you creating that first one, like in the DMS after the work's done, or are you creating it ahead of time? So let's say a new bulletin comes out and you see that. Do you take time at the end of a day or at the beginning of the day where you're like, okay, I'm going to get one written for this so that I don't have to do it at 3:00 when the work's done? How did you handle that?
So I'm pretty proactive in that area. I'll search recalls and TSBs, usually at either the morning or the afternoon. And if I know there's a recall coming out, I'm going to look through the documentation and type it up so that when I do see it, it's already there. Some of the warranty stories are a little hard to do that because they have to be more specific on the documentation and stuff. But the recalls and TSBs are pretty easy to just get ahead of the game on.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. So another thing you mentioned kind of first was putting the phone down, but you laugh, but I mean that's so easy to say, right? But it's difficult at times to stay focused, right? It just is. You get a job done. You need a couple minutes, right, to just okay, I need to get my mind cleared and to move on to the next thing. I just need a couple minutes, and you pick up your phone, and then all of a sudden 10 or 20 minutes have gone by. It's like, oh crap, I got to go get the next job. So how do you have any, I'll use the word tricks, but I mean, any tactics to minimize distractions? How do you, I don't know, is there a way that you've found works really well other than just, sheer willpower, right? Is there something that you've done that has really helped you leave the phone alone during the day? Like you're there to turn wrenches, right? Like you're there to get the work done and get it done effectively, and get it done well. So how do you eliminate that kind of wasted time?
It's definitely very hard. I mean, we all get those mystery vibrations in our phones. It's in your pocket. And you're like, I swear it vibrated. They also have Audi is instilled the two key factor identification. So every time I log on to the scan tool I have to be on my phone. So it's an even more opportunity to just get distracted. And I don't really want to shout out too much to this company, but there's a company that came out with this little thing called Brick. And it's a little device where you can place apps on it. And I leave it in my car. And what I do is I tap my phone on it and it locks out my social media devices. so I can't use them at all. And the first week was terrible. I was just felt like I was going through withdrawals of social media, and that's pretty new. I haven't always done that, but I've noticed since in the last year, I've been really struggling with social media. So I realized I need to take a step. And so I bought this product, and it is just the last 2 months have just changed my life with social media. Like at work, it's like I'm just overly productive. So I think now is a perfect time to, if you know you're struggling, you got to do something. Like, because sometimes just the willpower isn't there. So having that brick is extremely helpful if you're ready to make a change.
No, that's great. That's great. That's a good tip, good call out. Because yeah, I mean, it just for a lot of people, and it doesn't take much, right? To your point, you pull out your phone to do the MFA on your authenticator app, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's a little red dot there. I gotta see what that red dot means, right? And then all of a sudden, 20 minutes later, you're sitting there going, man, and it's crazy when you think about it. I'm sure you do all the time because you're so into efficiency and productivity. But a tenth of an hour is 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. So what did that just cost? If you think about it that way, right? So 6 minutes times 3, right? If you're on your phone for 24 minutes, right? 3/10 of an hour. What did you just spend? Right? What did that just cost you? And
I made a joke
tough.
the other day. Somebody was talking about the time, and I was like, "Oh, my clock works intense." I know. I like know exactly what you're talking about, and sometimes that there's a little strategy involved. I think with being efficient as well is if you go in every day with 0 cars to work on and you just expect all of the cars to roll in, it's hard, especially when it's a little bit slower. So usually I'm kind of at a point where I'm able to plan with my group leader. Okay, I've got a car here. Diagnose it, send quotes or order parts, and then, okay, pull the next one in, pull the next one in. And so I push my promise times out just a little bit, communicating with the advisor and the customer. And then I'm able to pull those cars. So when it is slow, I usually almost always have work because I've kind of backlogged it enough and I can get it done fast enough to keep everyone happy.
Yeah. How many bays do you have?
I'm the only technician in the shop that has 2 bays. So
You get 2 full bays?
Yeah, they've allowed me that benefit.
Hey, if you turn the hours, sometimes you earn what you get. So that's all right. Okay, so you got 2 full bays, so you can really go back and forth and hammer through it. That's great. That's great. Has it always been that way?
No, I mean it's been that way for the last 2 to 3 years, and before that I was with 1 bay, and I would have a car behind my stall. I would have a car we have like a state bay next to it, and if there wasn't being a state inspection done, I have a car there, or I have a car outside, like near me, where I could go and, like, if it was running outside or I needed to use the scan tool, I could use the scan tool and have the wireless dongle plugged in and still be doing 2 things at once. So even though I don't have 2 stalls, I'm using the space near me to work on 2 cars somehow.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, that makes it, because you're pretty much always going to have a car taking up space waiting on approvals, right? Like no matter what, I mean, it's pretty rare that you make a recommendation and within, even 10 minutes, you're going to have an answer, right? It's going to be sitting there for some amount of time. I mean, best case, you get it to the advisor gets to the customer, customer answers the phone, first of all, which may or may not happen, right? And, and they say yes right away. There's no, shoot, let me think about it. I'll get back to you. So you're going to have some version of that pretty much every time. So you're always going to have a car sitting there taking up space. So the more you can utilize, to your point, the space around you, whether that's a bay, whether that's sitting outside, whatever it is, that's, and being conscious of that, right, and doing it intentionally, I think is a big deal.
Yeah, I usually try to, unless I have to tear a car apart, I usually try to get that car in, diagnosed, quote say, and then finished and outside, so that it's not taking up the stall. And that might take me, it sounds like it might take you more time initially, but it allows you to get those more cars in, and it honestly pays off in the end because I'm not holding that stall up for 30 minutes or an hour. I'm just moving those cars, and if I have to come back to it to do the approved work or the other repair, I've kind of already just set myself up in that strategy I just mentioned, where it's like get 1 car in and keep the process moving, because I'll have sometimes 10 to 15 cars assigned to just me, where I'm just constantly in a loop with them.
Yeah. So how do you How do you do that? Like, how does that work? Is that in the morning you kind of set all that up? Is that in the evening before you go home you set all that up? Is it a blend of the two? Is it just throughout the day things come in? How do you go execute that where you can stack your day like that?
I mean, it's a constant battle, and it's a lot of pressure that I put on myself to keep it because I know what it takes to make the hours that I want to make. So I'm communicating with my group leader like, hey, I'll be ready for a car in 30 minutes. If we have anything, let me know. And if we do, he'll either pre-assign it or I'll have to wait. And so sometimes it's just like, if I know I'm coming up on like a slow spot, I'll give a heads up to my group leader is my dispatcher. So I'll let him know
Sure.
I'm ready, or keep me in mind for the next ticket because I'll be ready. And so it's usually just communicating with my team, and he knows me very well at this point to know that I can uphold my end of the bargain.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that's a big piece too, right? When you deliver, right, at a high level and you've earned that trust, then you're naturally going to get the tap on the shoulder when the next car is ready. I mean, that's kind of, whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent. I mean, when you've earned the trust of the people around you to get the work done, to get it done well, and to get it done quickly, you're going to be probably first on the priority list. Like, that's just the reality of the business, right?
Yeah, they want to get those cars in. They want to get them done fast and done right and on the road again.
Yeah. Well, Curtis, I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about video and a video MPI. So it's something that has become two things, I think. So it's gained popularity, obviously, in the last handful of years, call it 5 years. And there's technicians that we'll say are annoyed by it at times, right?
Yeah.
And there's technicians that really embrace it and love it. Then there's a lot of guys and gals that are in between somewhere. But talk a little bit about video inspections, how you use it, what your perspective is on that tool.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest holdup is the more work, no pay for it, or less pay for it. So that's what usually holds technicians up. My dealership doesn't pay me for them, and I mean, I've expressed my concerns, and I'm still here. So I'm not going to let that hold me up from using such a fantastic tool. Like, I'm just gonna the video inspections. I was hesitant at first. I was like, more work. I got to talk on the camera. They're gonna hear my voice. I don't like the way my voice sounds. I don't want to show them the car. There were so many things, and initially I was just like, well, it's not gonna go anywhere. So I might as well just lean into it and get good at it, because in 2 years, when I started 2 years ago, so 2 years, I'm thinking at the time Audi's gonna require these. So I was like, I got to do it. So just leaned in, started building a script, an intro script, kind of what I want to say during it, and then an outro script. And I would put it on a sticky note at the top of my phone. And so every time I would see it until I memorized it. And then once I did, it just became like clockwork. Now I could probably just close my eyes and walk around the car and do video inspections. And I've learned to love it, because now it's given me the opportunity to connect with customers in a way that a few years ago I wouldn't have even tried to do. And it's honestly helped me with the social media and the podcast and just being more of a public face. So it's one simple thing that I didn't want to do has just expanded into such a huge platform for me. And it's changing my life in more ways than just selling work and keeping the customer informed.
No, that's great. And that's a good call out on sort of the additive benefits outside of just work. But I am curious for you, have you noticed that it has increased kind of closing percentages? Is it a tool that's helped your advisors sell more work as well?
Oh, huge. I think it's anywhere from about 20 to 25% boost in CP approvals.
Wow.
So I was going from, it could even be higher than that. I was going from about 30 to 35. Now I'm up to around 60 to 65. So it's taken a huge benefit in the approvals, and customers just, the CSI scores, I get great surveys. They love it. They're like, this is great. I get to see part of my car. So financially, it just helped in so many ways, because I mean, you know how CSI is with dealerships and stuff. So it pays off in more than just the approval ratings.
No, that's great. That's great. Why do you think that is? I mean, it's I don't know. I'll just leave it at that. Why do you think that is?
I think customers are now being able to hear from the person working on their car. They're able to see that the tires, the brakes, the leaks, whatever's being recommended is actually recommended. And, mechanics, technicians have always received a bad rap for just quoting stuff that doesn't, it's hard to believe if you can't see it. That's not just cars, but in general. And so now you're showing them on the video that, hey, I'm looking at this leak, or your tires are showing cord here. Like, you do need these tires. It's very unsafe to drive. And so it's just changing that game where, seeing is believing.
Yeah, yeah, especially when it's something that you don't understand, right? The customer may not have any background in automotive or mechanics at all, right? And all they see is $1,200. Man, are you kidding me? But yeah, when you show them like this is what it looks like, this is what it's supposed to look like, this is what will happen if you don't get this fixed. Like this is the inevitable result. It might happen when you leave. It might happen tomorrow. It might happen 2 weeks from now, but it's going to happen.
Yeah, I've noticed a challenge with having to reduce my tech talk and bring it down a little bit more simple. No acronyms, just making sure I'm explaining things to someone who, just assuming someone who doesn't know anything about cars or
Sure.
automotive. And that's been challenging. But other than that, it's been such a fantastic tool, and it's helped me make more money and just, learn so much more as well. And so I just try to relay that to other technicians when I'm telling them, like, if you don't get paid for them, I promise if you lean into it, you're going to make the money off of it in the long run. You just got to embrace it up front. And it is a little, no one likes change. No one likes learning new things usually. So I just try to encourage, do something, like have an open mind and think bigger. Is those video inspections are going to be a huge new tool for technicians they already are, and they're just going to continue.
Yeah. Yeah. How has it impacted your relationship with your advisors?
Well, I mean, they love it because my videos are probably one of the top videos in the dealership. Not trying to brag too much, but it just makes their job a little easier. And then we get to explain some of the things. Like if a customer has a question, then it's usually already explained in the video, and they can just be like, it takes a little bit of the load off. I don't want to say it makes their job easier, because they do have a pretty significant job outside of just selling stuff. So
Sure.
it helps us help the advisors communicate what's going on with the car. And I like to try to do as much as possible in videos, so the advisor has to do as little as possible.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. I mean, I agree with you. It's such a powerful tool. And if you're to your point, if you're going to do it anyway, you may as well do it well, right? It's like, if it's going to pay off on the back end, you may as well do it well. It makes sense as one of those things to lean into. And, we went through these kind of iterations over time where it's like, okay, I got a piece of paper, I got a sheet that I'm going to do an MPI on. Is it red, yellow, or green? Right. And then it's okay. Now I need more detail on that. Now I need to, really measure everything out, and I need to write in the tread depth, and I need to write in the pad thickness. And, okay, now I'm going to have to do it electronically. So now I got to go to my computer and I check these boxes, and now I got to do it on my phone, and now I got to take a video. And so it's been this evolution, but we really are getting to a place where I think, at least, and I'm curious what your reaction is as somebody who's doing it every single day, where yes, it takes a little time, but it's becoming more effective, but also more efficient, right? Like you're getting to the point where you don't have to walk around with a clipboard and, put a check mark on all these boxes and then go to the computer and retype it in. You kind of have one process at this point where, you can be efficient and you can be repeatable every single time, so you can get faster and faster and faster.
Yeah, that goes kind of back into the efficiency thing. Is I create a muscle memory process of how I perform my inspection. I start at the same corner, I start at the same tire, and I'll go around the car lifting it up in the same, amount of time. And that over time, it just builds that muscle memory for remembering things, talking about things, and doing that video inspection in, 5 to 10 minutes, and you're on your way.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. Another thing I want to pick your brain on, because I've heard you talk about it a couple of times, is Toolbox organization. So this is something that might not be front of mind for everybody, but I'm curious to hear you talk about it, explain it, and then maybe we can at least use this as a jumping off point to go a little deeper.
Yeah, it's very underrated. I think I'm always looking for ways to be more efficient. And one day I was just looking at my toolbox and I was like, I have those big clunky holders that fit in there, and everything's there. I know where it's at, but could it be done better? There's always the way to do it better. And so, the Toolbox organization is, I've created a system. Like, I built my own system for my toolbox that fits into the drawers, and it's a custom fit system that takes the drawer measurement and it's not sliding around. It doesn't have magnets. It fits in, and it allows you to place these holders in a spot and a position that's better for you. If you have your wrenches in the front or your whatever ratchets and sockets you're using, that's in the front, and you can use different colors to coordinate it. And it allows me and soon, hopefully, other technicians to organize their toolboxes in ways that they want. They don't have the big clunky holders, and they can put so many more tools without those holders. And it speeds up. Like I did a video the other day about you spend 1 to 2 hours wasting time looking for tools like over a week. It's crazy. So that 1 to 2 hours, and you take that for a whole year, you might be able to hire 2 more technicians. And so, how many shops or how many techs in the shop want their dealership to hire 2 more techs? Probably 0. So if we can eliminate some of that wasted time, techs can be more efficient. They know where their tools are, and they're just even making more money for themselves and the company.
So talk a little more about it then, because I think you're right, and I agree with you. So first of all, my toolbox at home is a mess. So I have nothing to compare it to here. It takes me time to find the right wrench when I'm changing my oil. My toolbox is a mess. But what you're talking about is these little incremental, everything's in the exact same place every single time. And it's in the place that you want it. So talk to me about the difference between, kind of a standard holder that does keep everything in the right place, right? So your wrenches are in order, your sockets are in order, everything's in order. But what's the difference between that and what you're talking about and kind of having it customized to you?
Yeah, so usually the holders do an okay job of holding things around. They might slide around every time you open the drawer, but the biggest thing is they take up a lot of space. So you have a big plastic holder and you have 6 wrenches in it, but it takes up the space of 10 wrenches. And so I've eliminated that, and you just have these little simple holders that do just enough to hold that tool in the spot and don't take up excessive space, so that you can put more tools in that drawer, and then you can, put them close together if you want, put them far apart if you want, organize them, horizontally, vertically, whatever you want. And it just allows, if you want to open your drawer 6 inches and grab your oil change ratchet, it's right there. You don't have to go and be like, I think it's in this holder in the back. I closed my drawer extra hard yesterday. Maybe it shifted. So it's like, it's just eliminating things down to the second. Like, that's just how particular I am, is if I can accrue a few seconds over a minute, it just adds up so quickly.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. Let's see, another area of efficiency. You talked earlier about, tracking your time and tracking your steps. I've been a little bit obsessed lately with parts, right? And how much a tech needs to walk to parts, wait for parts, walk back from parts. And in some shops, they'll have a parts runner. In some shops, I've even seen kind of a mobile back counter, they're calling it, where, it's a cart that has a lot of parts on it. So talk to me about the efficiencies there, how you track that, anything that you've done to increase efficiency when it comes to getting the parts from the shelf to the bay.
Yeah, this ties kind of into to communication. My parts guys, I know at this point that kind of like, if I'm going to work on a job in an hour, I'm usually parts requesting those parts. I'm not pulling the car in and then waiting on parts. I've already got the parts out at my toolbox. We also have parts cabinets. So we have every 6 toolbox, there's a huge cabinet with common parts in it. So instead of having parts runner, we just go to the cabinet on a little iPad and say, okay, I want to select this part, and this part. And then it's right there. I just pull the drawer open. It's right next to my toolbox. So that saves on a lot of small stuff. But as far as getting parts, if it's very rare, unless I have the wrong part or I'm missing one, for me to go into parts, because I'm already set up in the future of getting those parts in my box, making sure I have the right ones if I know the job, and making sure I have all of them. Because if I pull that car in, start the job, and I didn't check parts, well, now I'm down a bay. So that's just a waste of time.
Right. So the way you're set up, you said that you kind of have those parts ready to go once that car gets up on into the bay, basically. Yeah. I assume somebody's bringing those to you.
Oh yeah. Sorry. We have a parts runner. Our parts counterman, parts runner, they all kind of rotate pretty comfortably in there. So I'll send a note in through the computer, is making sure it's like a parts request. So I'll send that in, and they'll get the the notification in the parts department, and then they'll send somebody out shortly with those parts in like a big bag and set it on
Yeah.
my box so I have it ahead of time.
Nice. No, that's good. And like you said, that's just planning, right? Just making sure that you have them there, so you're not waiting. I mean, that's the name of the game. Go as fast as you can.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Curtis, one other thing I wanted to hit on, and then we can go wherever you want to after that for sure, is, you're starting to do and have been doing for a while, some coaching and some mentoring of other technicians. Talk to me about that a little bit, specifically what that experience has been like for you. I mean, I've always found, when you have to teach somebody something, or coach someone or give them mentorship, you have to think about it a lot more, right? It's a forcing function for you to really understand what you're talking about, for you to understand what you're doing and understand, what is the best way to do something. So, curious first, what's the experience been like for you, and has it had a positive impact on kind of you and your productivity too?
Yeah, it's been one heck of an evolution. I think it's easy for me to think about it and do it. It's hard to then get it out, even onto paper or onto the computer. And then it's another challenge to get that to somebody, because the way that I learn it and I explain it isn't usually the way that's best for somebody else to receive that information. And that's been the biggest challenge for me, is working on my person-to-person communication and making sure that information is coming over in an effective way. It's also helped me, like you said, reflect on my own process and be like, oh, this makes more sense, or this doesn't make as much sense. And kind of, I feel like when you're teaching somebody something, you're learning about it as well. So it's helped me learn in that area. And I've been doing a lot of social media, just general coaching and mentoring, kind of dabbling in some specific stuff with technicians and other dealerships, but mostly right now it's just on social media and just being generalistic with things that come across my everyday process. If I'm running into stuff with warranty or running into stuff with communication, I'm making sure I'm explaining that in what I would do in just a kind of hopefully I would assume, a conversational manner. That's just generalized. I mean, there's always going to be those negative people on Instagram, but just like if you run into a situation, try this because this has worked for me and this is my mindset on it. And just trying to keep an open mind, because that's not bad stuff, but like negative stuff comes across your plate and it's easy to get wrapped up in that. But if you just get stuck on it, it's like you're at work, you're at the dealership to make more money, to fix cars. So let that nonsense just flow over your shoulder and get back to work and focus on the efficient part of what you're doing. And I know it's taught me a lot, just trying to help people and learn about people's experience and be more connect a little bit more deeply with people than I would have expected about a year ago.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, Curtis, one other thing I want to ask you too. So you work at an Audi store, right? And Audi makes some pretty beautiful cars, right? They have a wide range and some very beautiful cars. They make some very high performance cars. So I'm curious, what's the coolest car you've ever gotten to work on?
I mean, I've worked on some R8s before.
Yeah.
It's funny is I had someone ask me this question, what's your favorite car now? And I was kind of like the next one. It's it's kind of cliche, but it's a lot of the RS models are really cool. We have some really high-tech electric cars. While if I look at it from a pay point of view, it's not fantastic, but if I look at it, wow, this technology is so far ahead and so cool. It's just really valuable and interesting to me to work on such high technology. I don't even say that. High tech cars, and just be involved in what Audi's doing in the forefront of the industry. And I mean, they obviously deal with some issues with the quality of some of those components, but it's just really cool to work on the fast cars, work on the electric cars, and just get my hands in there and learn about it.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. And yeah, I do think Audi's a great brand, especially overall, but especially to be a technician where you do get that diverse array of vehicles that you get to work on, right? I mean, there's a lot of different types of vehicles, drivetrains, performance levels that you get to work on every day. So I think it's a great brand to be a part of, and you get to learn a lot for sure. But Curtis, I've had a ton of fun talking with you. I want to be respectful of your time. I know you're up at Northwood and have probably a full plate today. But anything we haven't touched on that you want to? Anything I didn't ask you that I should have?
I think we talked about the organization system. I mean, that's just something that I've been building. So it's important that, just talk about a little bit in the fact that, in 2026, I'll be launching the product and hopefully get it out there to technicians and kind of get it out there and help in a way that, not just is like a mental efficiency standpoint, but a physical efficiency standpoint and organizing a toolbox and making sure that everything's just where you need it.
No, that's great. I mean, if people want to know when that launches and when it's available, should they follow you on social media? Is there, where should they go?
Yeah, so I have a Stand Store link in my bio on Instagram and LinkedIn. So if you follow that, there's a queue to get in the queue for the tool system and kind of gives me a heads up on what kind of things I need to do to prepare for that. And that'll get you ready. And then when it launches in 2026, the order you're in is the order you'll receive it in. So get people signed up and we'll get it out there.
I love it. Well, best of luck with that, Curtis. And I really do appreciate you taking time to talk with me today. It was a great conversation. We'll have to do it again sometime soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Greg, and to your team.
Yep. Thanks. We'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir.
What an impressive guy. I really enjoyed that conversation with Curtis Gardner. I hope you did as well. I think there were quite a few nuggets in there that hopefully you were able to take something out of that you could go implement right now, today, or pass this on to a technician friend, and hopefully they can implement something. But before we hop off, don't forget you can watch or listen to all episodes of Connected on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify podcasts, and make sure to hit subscribe so you're notified every other week when new episodes are released. Thanks so much, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.